Welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we cut through the bullshit
Greggy,
so we can get naked.
you can't say that.
Why not? How would you say it then?
Well, maybe more like, welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we undress emotionally so we can undress physically.
That's exactly what I said. Not sure what the problem is. Welcome to episode number
43.
We're glad that you're here with us. We're happy to be here.
Yes, we are. We're actually really happy to be here.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a little while since we had guests and everything, and then now we're back together.
And you were gone last week, and I missed you.
I was gone last week. That kind of
It
sucks.
was a long week without you.
And you got sick.
I got sick.
And it wasn't fun coming back. We're not feeling well. But all is well. We're back. And today we want to chat
back.
about something that we see, a pattern that we've seen in a couple coachings. And I think it's something that we continue to struggle with sometimes and deal with. And so we're thinking, that's the case. And there's probably others out there that are struggling with the same thing. And it really is around initiating sex.
Yep.
And how that looks and how we can struggle doing it from both sides of the desire spectrum.
And struggle understanding or tracking what it means, whether or not that initiation is happening.
Right. I think the number one thing that we've come to find out is that we put so much meaning behind this, right?
Yeah.
We literally use it to measure whether the person is choosing us or not, whether they're going to respond to our initiation or are they going to initiate? Probably more the latter, right? If they're initiating, that means they're choosing us. And I don't think it's as black and white or cut and dry as that.
And you're talking about initiating sexual intimacy.
Yep.
And I think there are other things we track too, but let's start with that and spontaneous and responsive desire.
Right. From a spontaneous person, since we're ready to go at any moment, and we spend probably a little more time than our responsive partners thinking about sex itself.
A little more time?
Okay, a lot of time. It really is something that's forefront in our mind, right? And
All the time.
Let's remind everybody kind of the pattern of the differences, right? So as a spontaneous person, we're ready to go. It's kind of at any moment. It's something we think about it. It's we're actually have desire first, then arousal, and then, sexual intercourse comes after that.
I think it's also something that motivates you, that keeps you feeling engaged or alive, just in general, not only just in the relationship, but kind of like in life in general. So it's like something you kind of always have like a tab on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
true. And so tell us the pattern for responsive.
Responsive, first of all, you're not thinking about it all the time. It's not something you keep tabs on. It's not something that's forefront in your mind, which doesn't mean that you don't appreciate or enjoy it. It just means that's not the way that your brain and body and heart store this engagement. You have other things that are forefront and on your mind, and that's what maybe we'll talk about in a little bit. But sexual intimacy is not that. And so in order for responsive to feel desire, they have to be in an arousing context and state for a period of time.
I still hear it. I still don't believe it.
It's
true. Crazy.
It's true.
But I've come to learn that it's true. And that's the thing. The difference between the two is not the problem. And that's the problem, is that we make it the problem. We think that difference is what's causing us to be separate. We think that the difference is causing us to struggle. When we realize that there's a difference there, and that's glorious, and that's actually where eroticism and great sex live, is in that differences, then we can tap into this ability to become intimate with one another and not focus so much on the difference, but understand the difference. Now, when I say that, does it make it any easier?
No.
You know it. I know that's differences where our heart passionate sex comes from. And I still struggle a lot with this.
And I think it's because we live so much in our own experience and world. As you see and experience the world, it's as if I have that same tab on
Yeah.
desire and that it's forefront and that it's motivating me and that it's leading me. And I have desires that do lead me, but they're different.
Right. And because I could only see it through my context, through my eyes, it took me a long time to realize, one, that there was another one. Like I said, it still blows my mind to hear it because it's so different from the way I experience the world. And I think when I started learning that, we talked about how I've changed a lot of the way I process things. And I look at other people and I realize that they are experiencing the world and their existence in a very different way than I am. And that's okay. Before I was like, well, there's something wrong with them if they're feeling they experience it in a different way. So it's that gap of not being able to see it in the context of someone else's eyes. And still, when I'm wound up in the middle of a situation, I can get to the point where I can only see it through my own lens. And when I apply that context to what Amy's doing and the behaviors that she's showing me, the answer I get is she doesn't care.
Mm-hmm. So what you are experiencing is a high amount of desire that probably builds up throughout a day or a few days or however that builds up for you. And you are thinking, I'm having the same experience. And if I'm not initiating, then that means I don't love you. I
Right.
don't care for you. I'm not attracted to you. Why am I not pursuing you?
Right. Because I'm thinking if you're building up the desire, and this is before I really knew what I was doing, I was so confused because I'm like, if she really desired me and wanted me, she would have the same need to initiate, to reach out, to be part of this experience. And because she doesn't, the only answer I got was she doesn't desire me.
Right. Which isn't true
At all.
At all. But it is how you experience things. And then what you start to track is how much I pursue or initiate or reach for you, which then only produces more evidence that I don't care for you and that I'm not initiating because you like focus in on all the little things. And then you start maybe even making them mean that I'm rejecting you and that I'm judging you, or I don't know, fill in the blanks here for me.
All the above.
Okay. And then you start feeling terrible and hopeless. Yep. And
my worth isn't, I'm not worth.
Yeah.
And that's really what I used to struggle with because I was looking for my validation through you too. Right. And so in this context, I wasn't getting that validation. So it must have meant something was wrong with me.
And then you start down your spiral and pull away.
Become needy.
And then
I don't pull away.
Right. Well, you kind of do because
I emotionally pull away, but I pursue physically.
Yes. I'm going to say emotionally you do pull away, but physically you get more grabby.
It's a safety net, right? I'm disengaging my emotions. So if I think about it now, I'm probably becoming toxic and dependent on the emotional scale at that point because I'm going to go here and save myself emotionally. Like it doesn't really matter.
You're going to wall off emotionally.
I'm going to wall off. But in the end, I still want it. So I'm going to pursue you physically.
Yeah.
And that's a dichotomy that you can't overcome.
Yeah. And the pursuit feels so different.
Yeah.
And in that needy pursuit, it feels like repulsive. It seems kind of hard to say.
Well, you can use the word repulsive.
It's like I can't move towards it, even if I want to, like it's pushing me away. And so it becomes even more like evidence for you.
Right. I mean, that makes 100% sense because as human beings, the one thing that we desire most underlying everything else is agency and choice.
Mm-hmm.
It rules the roost on everything we do. And ultimately, if we're not stepping into something at a choice, then there's going to be consequences, whether later on it's going to be resentment or, repulsiveness or duty. And that can only cause bad emotional things to come at the end. Not good.
Yeah.
We had a moment this morning that made me clap. So just a little sidebar note.
Yeah, what moment was this?
You're probably not even thinking of the right moment.
No.
We're having a conversation. Our married daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Is living with us right now with our grandbaby. Woohoo!
Yay.
I highly recommend grandparenthood. Go straight to it. And so we have her for a little while her husband's he's in the Navy. He's an officer in the Navy in flight school, and he was doing some training. So we get to keep her here for a little while. And we've had some really good conversations. What amazing time it is to have a grown adult married, living her life, and be able to have these open conversations. And we're really talking about things and working about how we don't do things out of obligation because it causes resentment. Mm-hmm. And today we're in the middle of a conversation. She goes, "You wouldn't do that because it's out of obligation and it causes resentment." And so I had to cheer a little bit. I'm like, woohoo, she got it.
Yes.
But anyway.
We do things out of choice. But I was going to say, when you start to spiral, it spirals like your whole life energy.
Yeah, because this, I haven't thought about it this way, but just listen to how he explained it.
Yeah.
Here, I have walled myself off emotionally, so my emotions are cut off. I'm not dealing with them because if I've walled you off, I really can't deal with them myself. I've walled myself off.
Mhm.
That's what's problematic with toxic independence because
Mm.
you can't really be emotionally sound in yourself if you're walling yourself off from someone else.
Right. Right.
So I'm in walling myself off. I'm shut down emotionally, but yeah, I have these urges and desires that seem to be overwhelming and
They get
overtaking me.
more pressing, I feel
Yes,
like.
because I've shut down I think if we think about it brain-wise, right, I am completely in my reactionary, my limbic side
Your
of my brain.
limbic brain. Your
I'm living in
limbic.
it. There's no logic applied to it at this moment. It's just literally, I know that if you loved me, you would desire me, you would initiate sex, and I'm not getting it. And that has to mean there's something terrible about me. And I have no way at that point, because I've walled myself off emotionally to protect myself, to actually adding my logic into it to be able to deal with it.
So, what do you suggest responsive spouses do, or how do you suggest they respond when they see their spontaneous spouse has gone limbic?
Gosh, this is a hard one. I thought you were going somewhere else, so I had all these good answers for you,
Oh,
and you threw out a different one because I was going to go back to say some of the things we've done to stop us from getting to that point. But when we get to that point, what do we do? I mean, the only thing that I can literally say helps is to be open and honest.
so last podcast that we talked about this, you asked me to tell you when I felt you were
Yeah.
needy.
Yeah.
And is that helpful in that limbic
Yeah,
state?
absolutely. Because it's the feedback that I need to go, oh crap. Because when you're in it, I'm starting to recognize it better, but you're
Yeah.
like in the midst of the battle and you're like, don't recognize what's going on at the moment. And just that honest conversation. Again, we can do things so differently at a different intent. And if we're going to go at it by like, knock it off, Greg, you're driving me nuts. Like if we're angry and that's the response we're getting, probably not going to respond very well. But if it's truly out of, hey, I love you, babe, and you're acting in a way that I don't think that you like or that there's integrity there for yourself, when you can point at that, and we've seen it time and time again that you're able to point at that, why it doesn't feel good to realize that I'm acting childish back to my regressed self. At least I'm aware of it and I can do something. I think the challenge for you is that you get in the middle of it and start to go back to your regressed self too.
Oh, for sure.
And so it's like you're not responding and probably walled off a little emotionally, trying to figure out how to back out of this situation as you're getting pursued physically. So that's the dichotomy that we make. It's in the struggle, the why it's such a struggle.
Yes. Yeah.
So ultimately it is catching it. It's catching it, recognizing it, and then going to say, oh, I'm living in my limbic brain and I don't want to anymore. It's my 2-year-old tantrum brain that's throwing a tantrum over here. And I would like to be an adult and apply some logic to this situation.
Right. And in that limbic brain, your primary belief, shall we say, is if she initiated, she being me, or if my responsive spouse initiated, then that means they love me.
That means they care about me. Then that means that I'm
that
worthy.
if-then.
Then it means I'm desirable.
But I feel like it's that if then that
Yeah, maybe
is-
if you're thinking in that statement, it should be the red flag.
right. Like if this, then if my spouse this, then even just that if then is the setup, the trap, right?
Yeah.
Because that is complete dependency on someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem is we've done it so long, we've danced this dance so long, it becomes familiar. Even when we've broken away from it, I'd say we've broken away from this pattern for the last maybe 2 years.
More like 3.
Maybe 3.
Someone asked me the other day, so I had to add it up.
You
and I was
went and did some math.
yeah.
So
I think we're 3 going on 4 now.
Even though we've kind of broken away from the major problematic pattern that we've had, and we can
Yeah.
recognize this, it's so familiar. So
brain likes familiar.
24 years. So 24 years versus 3 years.
Right.
24 is going to win most of the time. And it's so familiar we go back to it. So again, the brain is trying to protect us, right? The limbic side of the brain is trying to protect us, and it's going to get us to go there because
And
it
it
thinks
says
it's doing its job.
threat. If my spouse doesn't want me the way that I want them, then I'm in a threatening situation.
And that, I think, is the key to what you just said too, is so key because, again, let's go back to what we're talking about. I am trying to apply my way of seeing things, my way of taking in the world to you.
Yeah,
and that's when the brain goes, this has got to be, because that's the only thing I can see. Because if there's no other logical reason why she wouldn't initiate
Right. And it's not my experience at all.
at all.
Not even a little bit.
At
I
all.
do have my own experience,
Let's
which
talk about your experience.
I appreciate, but it is not yours. And it is not the way that I experienced
So it was important
desire.
for you to be able to see that I was experiencing things differently too, right?
Yes. Well, I think I tried to fit into yours, and this is what I see in myself and a lot of responsive desire people is they feel broken. Like I'm supposed to look like this.
And I don't.
How can I make myself be like him so that I can be okay? That was what I would do. How can I make my desire like his? How can I produce this to be like him so everything will be okay? And
I must be broken.
I must be broken there. Yes. And I can't be you. I can't be like your desire.
That's your favorite session at the retreats, right? Is when the women get to decide, because it's the major theme is they get to talk and chat about this and they come out of there going, I'm not broken.
Yeah, I'm not broken.
I am not broken.
I have so many women read Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. And that's
Awesome.
a book written for women by women about women's desire. And it just validates that in general, women experience desire differently. In general, women are responsive. Not all women, but a lot of women. And experience that desire pattern very differently. It's not desire and arousal don't come together. Arousal has to come first for a while.
Oh, I don't. That blew my mind. I remember you telling me one time when you had your men's group and you brought that up, and like the look on their face, like I wish I was recording the screen at the time because jaws were on the floor, and I get it. I'm like, what? It doesn't come together
No,
separately.
it doesn't.
You have to get aroused first, and then you get desire. What?
And there has to be that emotional component that says, I feel safe with you.
Yep.
And I feel that I can share myself with you. Because I think for women, we allow our
Literally
husbands to enter into our body.
Yep.
Like inside of us.
Yep.
And that entrance, you have to have a high level of emotional safety.
And the repercussions can be high.
And the repercussions are high.
Yeah, I don't have to carry a baby for 9 months. Yep.
So from responsive side, I think that I would track other things to be my if then.
Mm-hmm.
So my if then were more like if he notices that I need help around the house,
I do the dishes.
then he'll love me. If he notices that those dishes have been in the sink for 2 days and I've been trying to get to them and haven't, then I'll know he cares about me. If he notices that these kids are screaming constantly and I'm completely spread thin, then I'll know he loves me, right? So my dependency was different. My if then was different, but still just as dependent.
Right. And I think from a spontaneous person's perspective, like, I don't think we have a problem jumping in and helping on any of those things. We just don't recognize them as an importance on the top of the list as everything else.
Exactly.
And so
Same
it's not
with sexual
it's not
desire.
no, it's the same, and it's not our
It's not that we don't
priority.
enjoy the experience once we're in it, but it's just not front of
No,
mind.
I don't enjoy the experience doing the dishes. Sorry, we can't go 1-to-1 on there. Like, I still don't enjoy it. There's not joy, but I
don't know. You were
hate it
using the
anymore.
steam mop.
Oh,
this
we got the
weekend.
steam mop. It was fantastic.
And you do.
Amy
like
was
our
sick, and I
vacuum
got to do
now.
it first, and she was a little jealous sitting there while I was steam mopping.
And did make everything really shiny. And I saw some inherent joy on
No,
your face.
I have learned to joy. Dishes are my worst thing, so I don't think there's joy in it. But the joy is that I realize now that it's part of a house and it needs to be done, and that work needs to be done. So I've been able to step outside myself and see it. I think in the same way that when you find your own desire, your own sexual desire, a responsive person can also step outside themselves and realize how important it is.
Right. And so
and
even
do
though
that.
it's not top of mind, I am concentrating or placing intentional focus to notice.
Yep.
Because I know that it does create joy for us, even though it's not on the top of my mind, even though it's not what shows up first. It's not what I maybe track or see or am aware of first. I'm learning to create awareness for it.
Yep.
And that's what I feel like you have done too.
Right.
It's not top of mind for you to walk out and notice the state of affairs in the household, but you are learning to notice
Yep.
and learning to track, hey, that laundry's been sitting there for a while. Maybe I should put it away.
And I think this is a great segue into, and before we go, that I just want to say, hey, spontaneous friends, if we expect our responsive partners to be the one to initiate and we're measuring our worth and whether they desire side of it, you're asking them to do something that's almost entirely impossible. And so let's just put that in the context. But I want to transition a little away from, okay, we've identified what it is. We've identified the struggle. What are some of the things that we can do to help mitigate ourselves to getting into this area? That's where I thought you were going before when you threw the
Ah,
question out there of what do I do to when I'm spiraling and I'm already in the spiral, and how do I figure that out?
because I think so often you don't even realize you're that
Right.
far gone. So the mitigation,
I know it was really important. It was a great conversation. I'm glad we went there, but I also think that we've been able to do a few things that have helped us not get there so much.
what do you think is most helpful?
I think the most helpful thing that has happened is one, and this is the biggest one, and this just doesn't happen overnight and it takes a lot of work, but you have learned that you do have sexual desire and that you've come to the table of like, this is for me and this is something I want. I may not respond the same way you do, but it doesn't matter. And I know deep in my heart, even when I get into the spiral, I can say to myself, I have seen evidence that Amy desires this.
Why is my sexual desire so valuable to you?
Because it was so destructive for so many years. Because the pattern that we were in of you doing duty sex and me extracting from you and the damage it did to our souls, literally, I think, makes it so important to know that this is a co-op thing. This is something that we're working on together and it's not one-sided, and you're not here to service me and you're not here to fulfill any of my sexual desires or to solve my sexual urges. That we're literally a partnership and it's a playground that you love to be in and you found ways to enjoy it yourself. That's why it's so important, because it's the co-creation. It's the way we can truly intimately connect. Without you having that, there is no way to truly intimately connect to you, because every time we go to do connection physically, it's taking from you. It's not enjoying and co-authoring with you. That's why it's so important.
I'm thinking a lot of things right now.
Oh, I'm in trouble. I might be sleeping on the couch tonight.
No, not
I'm
that.
kidding,
You went
I'm
the
kidding.
wrong way.
Feeling?
No, not that at all. I think as responsive desire spouses, we underestimate how meaningful this physical connection is for you. And you, as spontaneous, underestimate how meaningful feeling emotionally supported is.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's recognizing both of those are actually very necessary, the emotional and the physical. Each spouse is bringing something to the table. Each one has maybe like a tab or a track on something different. And it's not that I should have the same tab on the same thing that you should be tracking. I'm not trying to encourage tracking, but I'm saying like naturally we're just wired to maybe notice or be aware of something a little more than another. And it's about us learning to collaborate in that rather than saying, no, this is more important, or me shunning yours because it's not mine, or you shunning me because I'm not tracking what you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, let's go back to a reminder that the yin and the yang is important.
Yeah.
This difference is very important. If we were the same, we would struggle because we would be missing one component of this two component things, right?
Mhm.
It's a reminder of, if we go back to eroticism, right? We talk about the river and the banks.
Mhm.
We need that structure to hold that
Of the
water
bank.
of
Yeah.
that banks, right? Because if there's not banks, we've seen recently how destructive water can
Oh,
be,
in
right?
Texas and Camp Mystic.
Yes.
Devastating.
Devastating.
Absolutely
So that water
devastating.
can destroy
The
if there's
water
not bank.
being the passion or
Yeah.
the
Eroticism.
eroticism.
But if there's no water, then people die too, because
Right. All
we
bank and no
drought.
water.
That's living. That's the only way we live, is with water, right? So it takes both the bank and the water to make this happen. And we're so focused on, hey, this is me. I'm the water rushing down here.
Come be water
Come
with
be water
me.
with me.
This is so
And if
fun.
you were water with me, we'd be destructive. And you're like, I'm the structure bank. Let's be structure together. And I'm like, if there's no water, we'd all die, right? It's like, I can talk about, if we wouldn't have married, I'd been a bum in the street. I would be a bum in the street and you would be boring as hell. if we never got married. So it takes both sides.
And I think instead of feeling threatened or feeling that you have to be the other one, it's learning to
We should rejoice.
understand though and
Yes.
appreciate. Like I appreciate that you have sort of a tab on that because that keeps it alive in our
Yeah.
marriage. And you appreciate that I kind of have a tab over here on our
Yes.
emotional connection because it keeps that alive and you don't have that
Yes. The differences are
internal
not
tab.
the problem. Us thinking that the differences are a problem is a problem. And that's what I see over and over again when we get these couples that things they're fighting about the differences. You should look like me. You should do this way. If you were more like me, then I would be able to
There's
understand
that
you.
if then again.
It's if then, and it's not the problem because we just told you it would be very destructive
I think we
if we were the
like
same.
if thens when we're in that more limbic state because we feel
Right.
like
Because it solves the problem
we
for us.
can measure or we can track
Right.
or we like decide on this variable that's like, okay, this is the variable that's going to determine if our relationship is functioning or valuable or thriving or whatever adjective you want to use there.
I think I just had another aha on that one
Yeah.
because you asked me why that was so important. Because my
Yeah.
first response was the biggest thing you could do is you'd found your own desire.
Yeah.
Because we didn't understand the differences, because we didn't understand who we were. And until each one of us understood the role we played and who we were, and we were secure in that, then we couldn't function in this way. Even with me understanding my sexuality in such a different perspective and way, without you bringing that to the table and understanding it, then it could never be a collaborative moment that we could do it. So
And
that's what
I used to try and get you to collaborate and listen to me emotionally.
or
Like,
connect with me
tell me
emotionally.
what's going on. And you'd be, don't you have more to say? Isn't there
Right.
something going on? And you'd be like, what do you want to say? Just tell me what you want me to say.
Tell me what you want
and
to hear, and
I'll
I'll say it.
Like,
I'm sure
no.
none of you out there have done that before.
I want to know your heart. I want to know your soul. And you're like,
Let's just get naked. But it takes both, right?
yeah, that's
It
what I'm
does
saying.
take
Like,
both. One's not better than the other by
I
any
would
means.
try and force you, and I would be tracking if he wanted to do this or if he noticed this, then he would love me. And you were doing the flip, and we're saying if you're catching yourself in an if then situation, you are setting yourself up for
Failure,
for suffering, really.
yeah, pain.
So what's the opposite of an if then?
Oh, geez. Now you sound like a computer program. What's the opposite of an if-then statement?
Self-definition.
I think it is being whole. That you
Like-
don't have to lean on something. There's not the then.
Because if then is looking outward. If
It's looking for
you are this way, then I am okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's maybe saying,
I'm
I am
okay.
okay, so this is how I'm going to be.
I understand who I am, how I approach the world, how I see things. I'm okay with that.
So how
And I
does
think
that,
the important part is to understand that you don't see it the same way.
right. So how do you do that from the spontaneous side? How do you say, I am okay with this building desire and my spouse will never initiate? How are you
Never.
okay? Well, let's just do worst case.
Never? No. How am I okay with that? Well, it does taking being okay with myself, learning that my sexual desires were not evil, bad, ugly, destructive. We've talked about a lot of times coming to grips with that.
But what do you do when that desire is building? How do you integrate or process it, metabolize it?
It's a great question. I've been practicing the last couple of days.
Tell me.
Do I tell you that? Because Amy's been sick and I came home.
I know. It's the
And
worst.
I've not done the best at times, but I've done better. To me, it is getting out of my limbic side of my brain.
How do you do that?
And it's stopping and thinking and pausing and getting in the moment
By
literally saying, okay, I was thinking about this morning as you were sleeping and I was not. And
I'm still recovering,
laying
y'all.
next to you and wanting you and not having you. And I was thinking about this because I was getting wound up. I could see myself going to that place and I'm like, I don't want to go there. And it really
because
was.
I feel like a lot of spontaneous desire feel maybe powerless or out of control.
Right.
at
And
that
this,
point.
I'm going to get to the jewel right here.
Okay, give it
This
to
is
me.
this is what I discovered this morning. For me, it's because I am in that side of my brain so much that I can think about what this experience looks like. I can literally replay it or play it in a way that I can see it in my mind. And I can lay there in bed and think of all the things that we should be doing.
Mm.
And it's not sleeping. And so I am playing this and setting up expectations and saying that we should do this and this is how it should look. And I'm getting to the future and I'm putting expectations in it by building what the future should look like by myself.
Alone.
And there's no collaboration in it.
Mm.
And then that gets you wound up like, oh, you should be collaborating with me. Why am I the only one doing it? That's the start of it. So when I found myself saying, okay, look, I am like in my imagination, imagining how this is going to play out in the future. And I don't know how it's going to play out. So no matter what, it's not going to play out exactly how I think it. And I'm going to be disappointed.
Because
and
you're
that's
missing
going to cause problems because I'm half the equation's gone, right?
at
It's
least.
just
Yeah,
one.
that's,
And
maybe I'm more than half.
no, you're all
Just kidding.
3/4 of the equation's gone.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
She's full of herself now.
I know.
And so I am building this playground. I'm building this experience on my own.
And if it's on your own, then it's
And
actually excluded me, but then somehow dependent on me.
Right. Again, how messed up is that? That's pretty messed up. And this is where you'll spiral. And this is probably if you have a battle with pornography, that's where you're going to go lean to it potentially because you get curious and you're playing on those things and those needs and desires come up and they feel like they have to be met or taken care of. So literally this morning, I realized if I can stop and just focus on my breathing. I know it sounds a little woo-woo.
No, but breathing is the one.
I know.
I'm
telling from responsible people that you understand it. But it's how responsible people are woo-woo. It's a little woo-woo. But I'm telling my responsive friends, it works. That if I can get and just focus on the now and the breathing,
the present moment,
all of a sudden, like that, the anxiety that I've wrapped myself up with this, having made this experience by myself and setting this expectation and being worried that it wasn't going to be met and that we're going to fail and then going into why she doesn't love me. Literally just focusing on my breathing took me out of it.
Mm. So I think responsive side is same but different, meaning like the more overwhelmed I would get, the more I would be thinking, I wish Greg would just read my mind and notice that these things could get done and how like life-saving that would be. Or I wish he would notice how much I just really want to connect with him. And if you could read my mind, here are all of the ways you could support me emotionally. And maybe that is imagination. Start seeing and imagining and making those lists.
Wow. I never thought about it in your own way.
Yeah.
Now, if we could just apply this to sex, we'd be good.
And then all of a sudden you walk in and are just existing. But if you don't do that first thing, maybe when you walk in, or maybe you're not even there, and then you're not measuring up, and then you don't love me, and then it's...
Yeah, I think both sides is putting an expectation on someone that you didn't even invite them in to set the stage in the first place.
Or maybe I do invite you and say, hey, can you grab those dishes? And you're like, just a minute. Or maybe you grumble, and then I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but let me go back, because in your mind, you had this played out where you'd say, oh, grab those dishes. And I'd say, oh, babe, I love you so much. I can't wait to do the dishes. Let me go get them.
Right.
And
so again,
just as my fantasy of sitting there,
you.
just sitting there thinking this sex thing is going to go this way, and it's not. No matter how it goes, it's not going to go that way because one of the part of the equation is gone. Same with you.
Right.
You've done it on your own, in your own way, and you put expectations on how I'm supposed to react. And when I react differently than what you put those expectations on, even though I don't know the expectations, then we're going to miss the mark, and then we use it to measure what it means.
Yes. And then that measurement just spirals any soul alive, right?
Right.
Because that's when we go fully limbic. Fully limbic meaning that we are without logic and reasoning and very emotional. And usually it's tugging on our core wounds, right? Whatever core wound that is. I'm abandoned. I'm not enough. I'm insecure. I'm broken.
Any validation.
I'm not okay. I'm unsafe. ... Because we all have one of those.
And so are you saying it's the same for you if you're in those moments, if you can just focus on the here and now?
Yeah.
Get out of the big side of your brain?
Yes, it's literally, first of all, I have to recognize that I am okay. I have the choice. Like, I don't have to be able to do and be everything. So I kind of have to give myself permission first.
Snaps us out of that state, I think.
Yeah. And I have to focus on the moment, notice my 5 senses, be here in the now, even if the now is what I'm trying to escape from. right?
That's problematic.
No, I mean, like I remember being in so many stressful situations with all the kids, sick days.
Being willing to go and process through that emotion instead of trying to
So it's
fantasize it away.
right, instead of escaping out of it.
Right.
Being like, okay, no, you are actually going to survive this. It may not be pleasant, it may not be fun. Yes, there may be more demands on you than are possible. And remembering you don't actually have to do this all. You can say no, you can choose. But where instead, I wanted you to be the difference in the equation, right? To make up for what I couldn't do.
Yeah, being able to apply some logic to that situation. As soon as it gets it out of our limbic side of our brain and apply logic, then it seems to calm everything down. And we know that. We know
But when
innately it
you're
does.
in limbic, you can't get to logic. That's why you have to breathe to
Right.
calm
That's what
the
I'm saying.
limbic
Snap you out
get
to be
the
able to apply
logic.
the logic. Yeah, that's why it's okay. What is the number one thing you can focus on? I'm breathing.
Breathing. Let me just
And
breathe.
then and maybe, I don't know scientifically this is because I'm not a doctor, but maybe that's if they were to measure the limbic side of the brain, maybe that breathing brings in your thinking side because you have to consciously think, am I breathing? Because breathing is an unconscious thing. The limbic side is doing it. And now you're making yourself think, am I breathing? Let's focus on
Well,
it.
breathing calms down any fight, flight, limbic response because you can't actually calm yourself and breathe if you're actually being chased by a tiger. And so it sends a
So the
message.
message, I can breathe. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Breathing does calm and it does bring you to a present moment. And most people in panic or difficult remember to breathe in, but they don't breathe out.
They
So,
hold it in.
yeah, you'll breathe in and hold it, breathe in and hold it, which just builds tension.
And
So
I don't
it's
even know
breathing
if,
in, holding it, breathing out. Like that calming actually calms down the limbic.
and to me, it wasn't even more of just, I didn't change my breathing pattern. I didn't breathe in, breathe out any
You're just
differently. It was
noticing it.
literally, let's just get what's happening to me. I'm laying in bed, I'm breathing.
Mm.
It was taking me out of this fantasy world of what I think should happen back into the reality of what is really happening.
Mm.
And as soon as I did that, it was like, okay, now I can apply some logic of what's going on. Amy's been sick. She's tired. She's sleeping. She took Benadryl last night, for heaven's sake. So she's
I
probably
don't
drugged
take
up.
Benadryl.
I didn't take advantage of her last night over like I should have.
Benadryl breaks the brain barrier, so I'm kind of opposed to it.
Yes. So her brain's destroyed forever. And so she was
But I have a
sleeping
rash
and
all
she's
over my whole
tired and like
body.
she's miserable. And of course she doesn't want me to touch her because she has a rash all over her body. So it was allowing me to go, what is happening right now, and apply logic to it. And it just snapped me out of it.
And I think the breathing is one of the ways that we primarily bring presence and come back to the now, the moment, the right here. It's one of those like super simple, super powerful things.
Yeah. Not so woo-woo, guys, but it seems woo. Like I just think about breathing and everything's okay.
You're so opposed to woo.
It's just logic. People don't like woo-woo stuff. Anyway, I think that's fantastic. One of the last things I do want to talk about is I think there's also some very large behavior changes that we've made that allow this to be better. I think the first you asked me, I said, yeah, knowing your own desire.
Yeah. What else?
I think the second thing that you've done an amazing job at is realizing that there is differences and that you may need to get into a mode to be able to get to a place where we want to go, and being willing to suggest that. Now, it takes both of us because it will be, hey, I am not quite there right now. Maybe I can get there, but I might not be able to. There might be things that don't let me get my brakes off. We might not be able to make love tonight, but maybe if we don't, then tomorrow morning's looking okay, or Saturday morning at 9's looking okay. And I used to fight back a lot because I thought if it's not spontaneous, then it's not really real, right? And if we have to plan it, then it's not really real. And so I've had to learn to do that, and I have had to learn that
You've had to learn
it's
to
not rejection.
accept
Yeah.
the time frame.
Right. And then when you say, I don't know about right now, but maybe later, it's not rejecting me. It's being honest about where you're at, because now I do understand that you respond to desire so differently and that you need to be in that arousal state before it comes. And I do understand, I don't understand why, but I do understand that's how it happens. And so I'm able to take that answer and not spiral myself. And I'm able to go, okay, if it doesn't happen tonight, then it'll happen tomorrow morning. Or if it doesn't happen tomorrow morning, we'll work through this and get there. But it's the reminder of myself that you're saying, hey, I do desire our sexual encounters. I do want them. They're just very different for me. And to me, get there, it's very different. I want to let you know that I do care about this, but I may not be able to get there right now. but I'm going to try now and then maybe later.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is that you accept that I have a different experience and you accept that I'm being honest about it.
Right.
And I think on the flip side, from responsive, it's accepting that you enter into emotional situations or emotional partnership differently, allowing to invite you in and also notice when you're not able to be there. There are times when you are not really emotionally present for a long conversation. Or let's say I ask for partnership around the house and maybe you don't jump and do it right that moment, but
Right.
you're like, I'll do it within the next few days. And like accepting, okay, his timeline is different than mine, but we're still on the same team.
Yep. And just acknowledging that it is very different, and that's the good part about it. And it may not look the same. And I might not, I mean, would I love that every time I say, let's get busy, or I don't have to say it, that I just walk in the house and you jump my bones? Would I love it? Would it be great? Absolutely. As long as the spouse isn't doing that out of obligation, trying to be like, if they do that out of obligation, then it's going to be resentful. And so would I like that? Yes. But I have come to understand that's not how it works for you. And that when I ask or set expectations to do, I'm asking you to do something almost impossible. Now, are the moments that are set perfectly help us get there faster? Like when we're traveling by ourselves and we have all the time in the world and there is no other structure than being with each other, then I find those moments where I'll be reading a book in bed and you'll jump me, right? And that's great. But that's realizing that all the other things in life have to be taken away before that's possible because of the way that we come at this differently. And it's really helped me to understand that this has nothing to do whether you desire or love me. It really doesn't. I'm asking you to do something. One, shouldn't have to measure my desirability. That's problematic. But even if I do, I'm asking you to do something that's almost totally impossible. And that we have to be able to connect in different ways emotionally. I had a coaching client. He's like, you and I have to connect with her emotionally. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. And for us men, that's just so foreign to us to even connect to our own emotions and think about I have to connect emotionally. And the other battle we get into, and I've seen in coaching, is if I have to connect emotionally, then she should be able to, physically connect. So we put these if-then statements again, right? These expectations. I think if anything we got out of this episode, it's like if-then expectations, they're always problematic.
Well, really, it puts you in a measuring mind frame.
Yep.
And if you're measuring someone, you're probably not truly seeing them.
Right.
You have now created some standard or expectation, which probably isn't helpful. And you are making that standard more important than the person. And somehow, and not only that, we often use that measurement then to either attack them or attack ourselves.
Yep.
And so it just becomes the stick we beat either them or ourselves with.
And we want to be other things, not sticks. Listen, spontaneous friends of mine, listen, I haven't figured this all out. There's nothing special about me. I'm not trying to say that. But what I can tell you from my experience, if we get the hell out of the way and stop putting these expectations on our responsive spouses, the experience is exponentially better than I ever dreamt or imagined could be. Ever.
So you're saying if you just calm down?
Calm the hell down and get out of your limbic side of your brain and realize that your spouse is different than you. Collaborate with them, and you will find that there's things that you dreamt of for years, and the experience you have are mind-blowingly better, and they continue to get better. I'll go, oh my gosh, I didn't think it could get better. Holy cow, where did that come from? I'm saying that when you're co-collaborating and this intimacy thing happens together, it is fantastic. And it can happen. I've seen ourselves change. I've seen clients change. It's not easy, but it's possible.
Yes, it is. And my responsive desire spouses, when you recognize your own why and why you would choose this, and also that we are also creating these hidden expectations to measure our spouses by, we can let go of those too and be more willing to see them. Before you know it, it's like porn. Your spouse is like doing chores around the house and like wanting to have long conversations with
house
you.
tour porn.
I mean, it is basically the best response of desire.
No. She doesn't want you to do it naked, by the way. That does not turn her on. She
No.
just wants the house to get work to get done. In our minds, we're like, yeah, well, if I ran around naked vacuuming, then she would really want me. But
No, that's not what
now
I'm
if she
saying.
ran around naked vacuuming, yes, that would be good.
That's the spontaneous mind
I
coming
know.
in
I'm
again.
just trying to remind ourselves. So, anyways, I just want to say again, I don't want us to feel like we are special in any way. We have just been extremely blessed to have lived in a place that wasn't like this. And the blessing, that wasn't the blessing. The blessing was to be able to find some answers and to change the behaviors in the pattern. And we mess it up so much still. Nothing special about us, but we feel blessed we've been able to do this. And so it's really the desire of our hearts to share this with you. Not in a we're above you in any way or better than you anyway, but just like, man, we get it. We've been where you're at. If you're struggling with this, and here's some things that we've figured out and we've been taught and by smarter people than us. And we really are grateful that we can share those with you.
Yes, indeed.
It's such a blessing. Please like and subscribe to these podcasts. We're up 2 points in Apple, by the way, from
Thank you for all of your
one thumb.
Reviews.
Yeah.
and-
So keep them coming in. If you haven't
stars.
yet, go give us 4 stars. Not that we need the validation.
You mean 5 stars?
5 stars, sorry. Not that we need the validation, but it's just kind of fun.
Greg is tracking it, y'all. So
Maybe that's problematic. That's how I am. It's fun to watch. It's just so much fun to watch. And we're so grateful for this opportunity to do it. So come join us on langfordlifecoaching.com. We have a free consult button on every page, and that's because we want to talk to you. And it literally, if it's just that free consult, so be it. We love to talk to you and enjoy it. And if we can help you in there and that's all, that's fine. We love seeing people change and marriages come together. It's a great blessing.
we want to see the light come back in your eyes and back in your marriage, that spark. And we lived many years without it, and it's hard.
It is hard. It is very hard. I think that's another thing that I just realized is that as different as we are as people, like we're living some of the same struggles. It's the pattern we see over and over again. I told Amy that when I started coaching, I was like, it's the same pattern, just different, exposed different ways. And she's like, yep, it is.
Different
Maybe we shouldn't let our
personalities.
secret out. Just with different personalities. So we love this work and we're grateful that you've joined us. So until next time.
Keep undressing your intimacy.